Hi everyone, can you hear me? I can see names here already and I've literally just clicked the go live button. Cherie, bless you. Hi Patty, Dawn, Linda, Lisa, Leslie, hi, Barbara. Who's just given me a thumbs down? Blimey O'Reilly, I've only just come on. Great, just give me a few minutes while I just get myself organised. I literally nearly missed you all. So this would kind of like just sum up my last few days, wouldn't it, with technology? It was only because Hannah phoned me and said I'm about to leave work soon, and I know she finishes at 6, and I suddenly thought, oh my days, and it was like 10 to 6. So yes, I nearly missed you all. So I'm just trying to find where we are so that I can double check comments. I've got 2 thumbs down now. Great, thank you. Okay, where are we? Hi Karen. Oh, Cherie, thank you. Yeah, the thumbs up do help all channels. To be fair, thumbs down do, because any interaction, but obviously thumbs up are a lot nicer. And basically what that does, it helps, it's something to do with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps YouTube push the videos to more people that are searching for this type of content. So that's why they help. Hi Alan, hi Linda, hi JD Cougar, hi Kim. Right, so I'm going to be showing you, hopefully, barring any problems tonight, how I designed the mandala that I was putting together and I showed on Sunday before the YouTube and everything all went haywire. I know, Mandy, I've got my fingers crossed. Everybody keep your fingers and toes crossed. I'm going to be using Canvas Workspace for web, and the main reason I'm using that is because all the features that I need to use are in the web-based program. Hang on, let me go on to me. I have to excuse how I look. Got no makeup. I've had no makeup on for 12 weeks while we've been in lockdown. So, because somebody asked me, didn't they, was it last week or the week before, which one I use the most? I tend to always go to Workspace Online unless I need a feature that's only in the computer-based program. So I'm using the web-based version, but you can use the downloadable computer Mac version if that's what you prefer. So I'm just going to go to Canvas for web. Right, so let me see. Don't worry about those thumbs down. Just have nothing better to do and would give, yeah, no worry. Okay. Okay, so in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let me see if this will work. Just give me 1 minute. Can you all see this? This is the mandala that I showed briefly, I think it was at the end of Sunday night. And this is made basically with circles. Leslie, thank you, bless you. Alan Green saying, I've not got my makeup on either. Oh, bless you, thank you. Hi, Mags. I'm fine, Mags, and I think hopefully everybody else is. Okay, I'm seeing Linda and Tony both saying yes. Cheryl, can I ask where you get your card? As lovely colours you used on Monday and the best way of card. Okay, Cheryl, a lot of the card I use is Stampin' Up card because I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Some of the card I've been using in the Sunday Night Lives has been card that I got from makerssuperstore.com, and it's their plain coloured card, not the pearlised. And I think it's, can't remember, it might be about 260, 300 GSM, something like that. Anyway, you're all saying you can see this mandala. Okay, so this is what I'm going to try and show you how to do tonight. But then this one is made the same, but starting off with a different shape. And this top layer, the purple here, is slightly thicker in width than this one that you might be able to see in the blue here. And I'll try and explain the reason why as we go along. So let's jump in to Canvas Workspace for Web. And the first thing I'm going to do is come to the basic shapes. And I'm going to choose a circle. And I'll try and keep up with your comments. I can see beautiful. Cherie says she's in her jammies. I tried to use the download program yesterday without internet and couldn't open it. Okay, I don't know why that would be. Sometimes I just think the download program can be a bit buggy. Lynn Gaskell's saying, had makeup on and melted in our Costa Blanca heat, 34 today. Oh my days. Yeah, we've had lots of nice sunny weather, but it's gone dull and a bit rainy here today. Right, let's crack on. So, just double checking you can see my page. Yes, you can. So I've got a circle. I'm going to come to the properties box, which is the square box with the lines in it. And I'm going to make an 8-inch circle. With the circle selected, I'm going to hit the D for duplicate key on my keyboard. That's the keyboard shortcut that at least works for me on Mac. You don't have to touch anything else other than D. The lovely Paul, my internet friend, made a shortcut list which I posted on my blog, was it last week? But a lot of the shortcuts don't work for me. But hitting D on the keyboard in Workspace for Web works. So with the duplicate, I'm going to size this down to 7.75, so 1/4 of an inch smaller. I'm going to select them both. I'm going to go to Edit. I'm going to go a line on the centre horizontal and a line on the centre on the vertical. So they're now lined up perfectly and centrally on top of each other. The smaller one should be on top. I'm just going to make sure that I've got both selected, and I'm going to come to Edit and Subtract. And if they disappear off the map, it means the smaller one's not on top. So you would just hit Undo, bring your small one to the front or send your big one to the back, and then you do the Edit Subtract. So now, excuse me, I'm just going to fill this with a colour because I find it's a bit more visual, so I hope it helps. So you can see now that basically I've got a frame. The hole in the middle isn't a solid circle, there's nothing there, I've got this thin frame. So from here, again, I'm going to create a duplicate. So again, you can either come to Edit and Duplicate, you can right click and duplicate, or you can hit D on your keyboard, whichever way works for you. So the duplicate, I'm now going to select and I'm going to hit the properties box and I'm going to make the duplicate 4 inches and hit enter. Now, before I go any further, this is where the top layer of the mandala differs, and I'm just going to come back to my other camera and try and explain what I mean. I'm going to. So, if you can see here, this top layer is blue and it's very, very, very fine. And the reason, can you see if I come in really close? The reason that this card line detail is very fine is because the design that I'm going to make now was made by shrinking the 8-inch circle down. Okay, now if I created a circle that was 4 inches and then made a duplicate and made the duplicate 3.75 inches and then did the subtract, I would get this thicker effect. This is just a different shape. This is a rounded square rather than a circle. So does that make sense? If you start off with the 8-inch circle, and make a duplicate and then shrink it down to 4 inches, you're obviously shrinking the width here of your diameter of your circles. So I'm hoping that you're all with that before I go any further. Hi Alison. Hi Charmaine. Right, I'm gonna crack on anyway. So I'm going to, this small circle with it selected, I'm going to make a duplicate. Cherie's saying got it. Right, okay, that's fine. So I'm going to select the big circle frame and the small circle frame. Everyone's saying got it now, gotcha, brilliant. I'm going to come to edit. I'm going to come to align top. So I'm lining both the circles up at the top. And then I'm going to, with them still selected, I'm going to come to edit and center them. So this 4-inch circle is now centered to the big 8-inch circle, but lined up at the top. Okay, I'm going to left click to deselect. I'm going to bring the other small circle in. With it selected, I'm going to hold the shift key down and select the big 8-inch circle. So I've just got these two elements now here, the smaller circle at the bottom of the screen and the big 8-inch circle. And I'm going to do the same but opposite. So I'm going to come to edit. I'm going to align these two up on the bottom. Let's move that one. I'll sort it out in a minute. In fact, let's undo. So select and select. Edit bottom, edit middle. Now see, it's not playing ball. They should align up top and bottom. So I'll select those two. Hang on, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to select both, edit and center. Okay. Now I'm going to bring the circle, the big circle in and go edit and center. Okay. So I know that the small circles just touch the top of the big circle and just touch the bottom of the little circle. And I think I'm going to have to move this top one down just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to move my big circle out of the way. The big circle was only there as a guide, but I am going to use it again in a little while. You're right, I did need to group them. It's just, you know, everything's going wrong, isn't it, at the moment? But anyway, not to worry. So I've got the two 4-inch circles centred and they are slightly overlapped. I'm going to select them both and I'm going to go to Edit and Weld. And I don't think they have welded, so things are definitely playing up, aren't they? Let's go back and start again. Okay, I'm going to select the big circle and one of the 4-inch circles. I'm going to align it up on the top and align it up centrally. And I'm going to do what Eric has just said and group it and see what happens. I didn't do this when I was making it, but you know, here goes. Now I'm going to select the other circle, bring it down to the bottom, select the big circle and line these two up along the bottom edge. That's better, thank you. And then again, with them both selected, I'm going to go to Edit and Center. Okay, so now I'm going to ungroup the top two and move, oh for goodness sake, and move the big circle out of the way. And I'm just going to select the two small circles and I'm going to go to Edit and Weld. And then I'm going to zoom in on here and you can see it's welded. I'll take the colour out because you might be able to see it better. So can you see where there's a gap here, and that means that the bits that were overlapping there have welded. So if I right click on this now, there's no ungroup, so that means it's one item and it moves as one, okay? Yeah, got it, Charlotte, thank you. And my mouse is going funny now. So I've got this, okay? I'm going to create a duplicate any way you see fit, okay? D on the keyboard, right click, edit menu, duplicate. I'm going to select both of these, edit center and edit middle, so they're lined up on top of each other. I'm going to left click to click away and just click on the top one. I'm going to come to the properties box and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And again, now I've got this, I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to go Edit and Weld. Now, the reason I'm welding at each stage is because when I made my very first one, I just put all the circles in position and then I welded at the end and everything was fine. And then when I come to do it again, just to double check that the process works, it didn't work. So I found by creating your two small circles and welding, and then duplicating and rotating and welding everything, it seems to work better. So now this is a group of 4. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right click and create a duplicate, select both sets, align them up centrally and horizontally by doing Edit Align Center and Edit Align Middle, left click away to deselect, click on the top one, come to the properties box, and this time I'm going to say 45 degrees. Can you see how the pattern's starting to come together? I'm going to select everything and come to Edit and Weld. Okay, now I'm going to fill this with colour just so you can hopefully see it better. And I'm going to create a duplicate and move the duplicate off to the side with the frame, because we can make 2 different designs from the same pattern. So this that you can see on my screen now represents the blue layer here. Can you see? It goes off round here. Okay. So now we want to start building up the layers. Right, are there any questions before I go any further? I mean, I will try and repeat the process, but just for now, let's see what we're doing. Yes, and a good tip for working with welding. Wow, oh wow, yes, looks great, love it, fab. Amazing how quickly it comes together. It is. Just take each step at a time, weld, then do your duplicate, make sure you're aligning everything. So the main functions that I'm using, and that if you try this, the repetitive functions are duplicating, aligning, subtracting, and welding. So they're kind of like your basic functions. Mandy G, I've just created that too, yippee, oh fab. So are you doing it, following along, Mandy? That's great. So let's start building the mandala. So we're building it from the top backwards, okay? So with this selected now, this is all welded together, okay? I'm going to come to edit, I'm going to come to offset, and I'm going to take my offset down to 0.12, which will make my next layer 1/4 of an inch bigger, because if you remember, the number that you put in here is added to the top and the bottom of your design. So 1/2 of an inch is basically 0.12 inches. I'm going to say outward. I'm going to untick the box under options that says create an offset line only around the outer edge, because I don't want an offset just around the outside. I want the whole thing inside and outside making an offset, and I'm going to say OK. So there's layer 1 and this is layer 2. Now you could leave this exactly as it is, because all these sections that you can see with the black around them will cut out, but I'm a visual kind of person and I like to see what the result is going to look like, if that makes sense. So the way I do that is, while this is still selected, I come to edit and subtract, and that just punches all those bits out. So now I'm going to change the colour. I'm going to make it like a lavender, and I'm going to come to edit and send it to the bottom. So it's going to go behind this layer. So can you see it's starting to form now? I'm just trying to catch up on your comments. So yay if made it this far. Way to go. Good job, Tony. So have I. It's great. Okay. So we've got 2 layers. Now you can keep on adding and adding and adding, and the smaller distance you apply as your offset will enable you to create more detailed layers. But I'm just using the 0.12 for now. If I get time, I'll do it again with the other shape and I'll make the offset smaller. But once you know how to do this, you can play with this yourself. So I'm going to choose the purple layer now. I'm going to come to edit, offset, and I'm going to use the same offset that I did on the top layer. I used the same offset on every layer of my mandala to what I started with. Having said that, I used a different offset on each design, if that makes sense. So whatever offset you start with, that's what I stuck with. So 0.12 outward. We don't need to do anything else because all the settings are saved. Okay, so this is my next layer. With it selected, I'm going to come to edit and subtract. so I can see what I'm getting. I'm going to select it. I'm going to say edit and send it to the bottom. And while I've got it selected, I'm going to change the colour. So we've kind of gone dark, lighter. Let's go dark now on this one. And then again, when you start to line it up, can you see what effects we're starting to get? Right, Barbara's, you make it look so easy. I think you've made it look easier than it looks. It's not, it's really easy. Once you get to learning how to just doing the aligning, it's fine. I'll try and do it again in a few minutes. So Erica is saying, so basically the coloured part is the card. I get so confused over what's cutting and what's left. Okay, Erica. So I'll show you on the next layer. So we've got 3 layers so far. We've got 1, 2, 3. So the third layer is selected. I'm going to come to edit. I'm going to come to offset, take it down to 0.12 and say OK. Right, Erica, let me change this colour first. Let's go to a lighter colour now. So this, no, that's not very good because we've already got a lavender colour. Let's go to a pale green. Okay, Erica, so this pale green that you can see on the screen would cut, and all these little bits that are in the middle that have got the black line around them will cut. But like you, I get confused and I want to know exactly what's going to cut. So with all this selected, if you go to edit and subtract, that punches all those little bits out, and that gives me more of a visual idea of what I'm going to get. So everything that's green with a black outline here will cut. All the white bits are holes, if that makes sense, Erica. Laurie, well done. So you're doing it as we go along. Fab. So I've got 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th layer. I'm going to say edit and send it to the bottom. And I'm going to do 1 more layer on this. And then I'm going to make it again with this framed circle on the outside. So I've got the green layer selected. I'm going to go to edit, offset, make my offset 0.12 because that's what I've used for all my offset layers. Say OK. And as you can see, as the layers get bigger, the detail gets less in the card, if that makes sense. So this one, let's choose a completely different colour now. This is completely random, isn't it? Let's go with a dark red. With it selected, I'm going to do edit, subtract. And then with it selected, I'm going to send it to the bottom. So now I'm going to select all these layers. So I've got 5 layers. I'm going to go edit on the horizontal centre and edit on the vertical centre. And that is my mandala. Okay, so I'm just going to flip you back to my other camera. So what you're seeing, or you've just seen on the canvas screen, is effectively this, but it's coloured different on the screen. And if I turn it round, not sure how well you'll see, but there are 5 layers. There's the very thin pale blue layer, which is so thin I couldn't even cut dimensionals small enough. So I literally glued that with wet glue to the green layer. And then the green layer is on dimensionals. This isn't easy to do when you're trying to... The green layer's on dimensionals, and so are all the other layers. So what I've just shown you how to make makes this that I'm showing you now that's in my hand here. Right, hang on, let me see. So Rat is saying, I used a tablet so I know what I will be doing tomorrow so I can watch again. Rat, you can make this on an iPad. I actually tried it. I find it easier doing it in the, online or download, but you can do this on an iPad because I actually tried it in bed one night, and then I came down the next morning and thought, right, I'm going to try it on the computer now and just make sure it all works. So it does work. So we've got amazing, amazing, brilliant. Can't wait to try this. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Amazing technique. Wow. This is wonderful and made so simple. Great instructions. Thank you. So frustrating. It's buffering so much tonight. Lynn, well, it should be recorded, so don't worry, Lynn. I mean, everything's looking okay on my end. I'm actually watching it on my phone as well, and it's not buffering for me. So maybe it's your internet connection tonight. Anna Lakeman is saying, could you draw the purple on the green? You could do if you want. You could draw any of this. You could make this without even doing a circle on top of a circle and subtracting. You could literally just draw singular circles. How small can that be cut on the machine? Well, I grouped this whole thing together and I made it 8 inches. So this first layer is probably about 6 inches in diameter, but it's very thin because, as I said at the beginning, I made my 4-inch circle by reducing this big circle. If you made the circle 4 inches and then put a 3.75 circle inside and then subtracted, this top layer would be thicker like this one is here. It's just that this is made with a different shape. Okay? So is everybody with that so far? Because I want to show you how to make it with the frame now on the outside. So I'm going to group all this lot together. I'm just going to shrink it down out of the way and put it off the page. And now I'm going to bring in so right at the beginning, I made a duplicate of this and I said I was keeping the circle on one side. I'm going to bring both of these together, select them both, go edit, a line on the center, a horizontal, a line in the middle, and I'm just aligning them up and making sure I've got both selected, and I'm going to go to edit and weld. Okay, you should all be back on my canvas now. Yeah, you are. So this now is all welded together. If I take the colour out of it and I zoom in, you can see it's all welded. Okay. So I'm going to do the same, and this will come out different because we've welded the outside frame to it. So I'm just going to kind of do this bit quickly because I want to try and get onto the other shape if I can. So I filled it with colour. I'm going to go to edit. Oh, Lynn, I'm sorry you've been having internet issues. I'm going to come to offset. I'm going to choose the 0.12 again so you can see the differences. Outward, make sure that this box under options is unticked and say OK. So there's my first layer. I'm going to go to edit and subtract just to punch out those middle bits because it just helps me see it better. I'm going to make it a different colour. With it selected, I'm going to send it to the back. So we've got 1 layer, 2 layer. With the layer I've just made selected, edit, offset, 0.12, OK. Let's make this a darker colour. We'll go edit, subtract, and edit, send to the bottom. So can you see it's starting to take shape? And it's going to look different because this has got the circle welded to the outside that I started off with. So I've got 3 layers. So let's just whiz through this quickly and then we'll try and do another one. 0.12 outward, edit, subtract, select it, edit, send it to the bottom, and let's change the colour so it stands out. That's not a great colour, is it? So we've got 4 layers, one last layer, and then my mouse is playing up now. Edit, offset. I'm going to come back to your questions in a minute because I've just seen one by Barbara. Say OK, and you can see the bigger you go, the more detail you lose. So there's not as much cutting out in the middle, which is good. Edit, subtract. Let me do that again. Oh, hang on. Let me send this one to the back. Edit, subtract. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Last layer. Edit, offset, 0.12. OK. Let's do edit, subtract. Let's send it to the back and make it a different colour. So hopefully, if I've done this right, let's line them all up. Edit, centre, edit, middle. Okay, right. Can you, let me drag this one out and see if you can see the difference. So can you see the difference now? The one on the left was made without the big 8-inch circle in the design at all. And the one on the right is the exact same design, but with the circles welded to the outside. So you get 2 different looks from the same design. So while you're looking at that, let me go back because I've just missed a question, haven't I? So Barbara Harty is saying, would you send them all across to the ScanNCut together or separately? I sent them all together. I made sure they were ungrouped, Barbara, and I sent them all completely separately. And in the Monday night live that I was doing for makers, I just brought each design up on the mat separately and cut it just while we were just having our chit-chat Q&A session. Lynn Gaskell, I keep seeing a message from you saying camera angle, but I don't know what you're talking about because I'm on the canvas screen. Leslie's saying yes. I've got cool, both beautiful and quite meditative watching and making. Looks so different, amazing. Wow too. Right, so I'm just going to group them just for now and make them smaller and put them on my mat and just save them. And then I'm going to quickly, hopefully, do another one showing you how to make the other style. So I'm going to come to create a new design. So for this one, I used a different shape. Okay. So let me come back to Canvas Workspace. And basic shapes, and I used, I think it was this one, the 4th one along, the rounded square. let me just have a quick drink and then... Hi everyone, we'll have to catch up later with what I've missed. That's from Sue. Okay, Sue, don't worry. I don't know whether I've missed any questions, so if I've missed anything, you're just going to have to type them again. But because the chat comes up on the left-hand side of me, and then obviously I'm looking at the screen trying to do the demo, and then I also have my phone in front of me with the chat on. So sometimes I can see the chat flash up in front of me, but that jumps up before it appears on my screen. So it can be a bit chaotic. Okay, so I've got the rounded corner square, if that makes sense. So I've got this one, the fourth one along. And I'm just going to do the same thing. You can start off with any size you want. I just started with 8 inches, but you could start off smaller. So with this selected, I'm going to come to Properties. I'm going to make it 8 inches. What have we got here? Queen Bee, thank you, Ashley. It was my settings and now I found you, Lynn. Okay. Ashley, it's so helpful you doing many samples. Oh, you're welcome, Caroline. Leslie's saying, are you limited to how small you can make these? Okay, right, let's do a smaller one then. So let's start this off with 6 inches and not 8 inches. And then I'll show you what I mean. So this is now 6 inches. With it selected, I'm going to create a duplicate. So I'm just going to hit the D key on my keyboard again, but you make your duplicate however you make it. This one now, I'm going to come to Properties and I'm going to make it 5.75, so 1/4 of an inch smaller. I'm going to line them both up, align centre and align middle. You could make this gap here bigger, it's entirely up to you. But if you start off with a big size and then shrink it down, that will definitely affect how it cuts, because you've started off with something smaller and you're shrinking it down, and that will make your card go thinner and thinner and thinner. Okay, Lynn, you're fine. It's just the message kept popping up, so I wasn't sure what you meant. So this time I've started with a 6 inch and a 5.75 second one, and they lined up centrally on the horizontal and on the vertical. And then with the small one on top, I'm going to go to Edit and Subtract. So this is my frame. Okay. Now, if your top layer you want to be thicker, like the square I showed you, instead of making a duplicate of this and making this 3 inches, because this started off as 6, so in the circle technique, the original started off as 8, and then I made this 4, okay? And that's why that top layer is very thin. So if I shrink this down to 3 inches, because that's half of the size we started with, these lines here will be very, very skinny. So the other way to do it is choose your shape again, make this 3 inches, so Properties, 3 inches, make your duplicate 2.75, line them both up, centre them on the horizontal and the vertical, and then do Edit subtract. Okay, and this smaller circle now will have maintained, if I zoom in, it's maintained the thickness of the width here, because instead of shrinking the big one down, I've made another one just 1/4 of an inch smaller. Does that make sense? I'm not explaining this very well, am I? So I'm going to make a copy of the small one. I'm going to select these two, go Edit, Align Top, and Edit, Align Center. Make them a group, bring in this one. While this one's selected, hold my Shift key down and select the other. Do Edit, Align Bottom and Edit, Align Center. Then I'm going to ungroup, move the big one out of the way. Everyone's saying, yes, it makes sense. Oh, good, that's fine. I'm going to select these two and go Edit and Weld. Okay, and you can see they've welded. That bit in the middle's disappeared. I'm going to make a duplicate of this, line them both up so they sit on top of each other. So it is repetitive, but I think that's how you kind of get it, and you get into a rhythm and into a flow. So Edit Center, Edit Middle, click away to deselect, then click on the top one, come to the Properties box and rotate it 90. Select both, Edit, Weld. Okay, create a duplicate of this, line them both up, doing all the same repetitive alignments. So you're getting to understand it now, Alison. Fab. Select the top one, come to the Properties and rotate it 45. Select both, Edit and Weld. Okay, so if I fill this with colour now, let's do some purples. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring the frame in, because that's what I did on the square one. Select everything, Edit Center, Edit Middle, and then I'm going to weld all this together. Edit, Weld. Okay. So that is my first layer. Leslie's put, you are going to make little designers of us all. Leslie, you're doing amazing. So this is now all one unit, all welded together. And then I just did exactly the same thing. So with it selected, I came to Edit, I chose Offset. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the offset smaller than 12. I'm going to make it 0.08 on this one. So hopefully you'll see the difference. I'm going to say outward. I'm going to untick under the options and say OK. Apart from when my mouse is deciding not to play. Bring the offset away. Come to Edit, Subtract. I'm going to select it. I'm going to fill it with a different colour in the hope that you're going to see it better. And I'm going to send it to the back. So now, because I only made the offset 0.08, you get more detail. Erica, remind me in a few minutes and I'll show you how to make them drawn, because you don't have to even do all this subtracting and everything. Just let me carry on for a minute and then I'll show you. So this now is only 0.08, not 0.12, and that's why you've got more detail. So again, edit, offset. Whatever offset I start with, I stick with. But that's not to say you couldn't change the offset on every layer. So I'm going to come to 0.08. OK. Let's change the colour. Let's make it slightly darker. Edit, subtract, select it, edit, centre back. Can you see we're on the third layer and we're still getting quite a bit of detail? So I'm going to do 2 more layers and then I'm going to try and show you just how to draw them, because that's even easier. So I've got the third layer selected, edit, offset, let's go 0.08 again, OK. Let's do edit, subtract, edit, centre back, so they all line up properly. Let's change the colour. So if you can see here, we're on the 4th layer and we've still got quite a bit of detail compared to the 4th layer on the other ones where I was making the bigger offsets. So 1 more and then edit, subtract. And the reason that I send them all to the bottom each time is because I send them all over to the machine on one mat, ungrouped. And that way, when they come onto the machine, they're in top to bottom order. And I can just bring the top one down out of the way on the mat and delete the other 4 layers and cut the top one and then call it up. And they're all still lined up, so you know that you're cutting each layer in order. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, let's just do another random colour. So if we select everything now, edit, centre and edit middle, this is what we've got. Now I'm just going to right click and make them a group. And I'm going to drag it out in the hope that you can see it better. I'm going to ungroup them. So this top layer here, the dark purple, is the thickness of this pale lavender here. And that's because I made my small rounded square that creates my 8 frame design, if you like, from a half size square rather than using the 6 inch and shrinking it down. Does that make sense? Only this was an 8 inch and then the 4 inch smaller, rather than using 8 and shrinking it down to 4. And that's why you get a thicker line here. Right, let me try and catch up with what you're saying, and then I'm going to go back to Erica. Would be a lot of fun just playing with the variables or shapes and offset. Definitely, just try it with different shapes. Whatever size you start off with, make your one that you're going to make into the 8 design half the size, if that makes sense. Card, Leslie. Okay, so let me just save this one. I've got so many mandalas saved. So I'm going to come back to a blank page, and for Erica, I'm just going to stick with circles because it's just easy. So if you grab a circle, make it 4 inches. I'm not even going to do a frame on this one. I'm going to right click and make a duplicate of that circle, and I'm just going to line it up so they touch here and slightly overlap. I'm going to select both. I'm going to come to Edit and Center, and provided they're overlapped a little bit in the middle, I'm going to go to Edit and Weld, and I've now welded. I'm going to create a duplicate, align them both up again, Edit Center, Edit Middle, click away to deselect, click on the top one to select it, come to the Properties box and rotate it 90. Select everything and edit and weld. Now, that's not going to work, is it? So you are going to have to do it as a frame to draw it. Unless, let's try another option and see. So let's create a duplicate. In fact, no. Select this, go to Edit, Offset, make it tiny, 0.08 inward, and say OK. Select both, let's make a group and see. Duplicate, align them up. In fact, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to backtrack. Sorry. Right, so I've welded the 4 circles together. I'm going to make a duplicate, select both, go Edit Center, Edit Middle, click away, select the top one, Properties, let's see what we get. It's probably just going to be a mess. Computer's on the go slow now. $45 I did, not 90. Select both. How are we going to do this? See, to draw it, it would be easier to have it as a single stroke line, wouldn't it, rather than making the frame. But if you started off with a frame that was really tiny and used the pen, it probably would be okay. I'm just trying to see if there's an alternative way without doing all the subtracting. So if we group this and make a duplicate of this, and then let's make the duplicate smaller and see what happens. So it's 11.25. Let's try making it 10.75 and see if this works. This might not work at all. Select both, Edit Center, Edit Middle. Oh yeah, it is. So if we select, that layer and make a duplicate, make the duplicate, let's make it 7 and see. I'm just playing now. Select both, Edit Center, Edit Middle. So it is starting to come together. You could draw this. Yeah, you could have just left them grouped. Definitely, I think that would be another option. Let's try that and see. But there's different ways of doing it. I mean, you could just draw any of the designs that I've made, but rather than having to do the subtract all the time, if you're just going to draw them, then it might just be easier to, not do the welding and all that kind of stuff. So let's make a duplicate. So this is a 4-inch circle. Let's just overlap them ever so slightly and align them, group them. Computer's being slow now, I think because I've got so many things going on. Right click and group, duplicate that group, line them up centrally and horizontally, click away, click the top one, rotate, rotate 90, group them, duplicate them, line them up, edit center and edit middle. So yeah, you don't need to do the welding. Click away. It's a good job you all know, isn't it? Select the top one, properties, make this one 45. That's better, isn't it? So we'll get rid of that one. But there are different ways to make different things, aren't there? That's not bad. You could have kept on adding in the middle and going and going and going. Oh, so let's make all that a group. And then let's see what else we can do. See if we can do anything else while we're here. I'm going to go in a few minutes, but let me try and we'll do a 2 1/4 inch circle or thereabouts. Don't know if this is going to work. Make a duplicate, put that one down there. We'll select that small one and that top small one, and we'll align those centrally, and we'll make those two a group. And then let's do the trick where we hold the Alt or the Option key down and drag these out just so they overlap. Because if you're just going to draw this, it doesn't have to be all welded and perfect, does it? See, I've not got my spacing right there, but you get the kind of idea. So yes, you can draw them, you can cut them, you can do whatever the heck you want with them. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go back to my others. In fact, no, I'm going to stay on the page. I'm going to go back to my projects and I'm going to bring back some of the ones I've made. I'm just going to make them a bit smaller so you can see them all. So what do you think, everybody? Yeah, group rather than weld if you're going to draw, Lynn. But to make these that are on the screen now, the proper mandalas that you would cut in card, you need to be doing the welding and the subtracting. Charlotte's saying it's so freeing to see you just play. That's all I do, and if it doesn't work out, I just hit undo. And sometimes I have things in my mind and I think, yeah, that's going to work, and then I do it and it's a load of pants. So, that's how it goes. What's Leslie saying? Get your 24-inch mat out, Ashley. Mandy's saying endless possibilities. Now I know how crop circles are formed. Yeah, you're worth a million blessings. Oh, thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much, Ashley. Going to have fun tonight. Great. Listen, if any of you make any of these, please send me photographs. Loads of people now are sending me emails with pictures of what they're making. It's really great, honestly. I love seeing it. It makes it all so worthwhile, me spending my time, you know, doing all these hours of just messing about and trying to see if things work, and then being able to show you lot how to do it all. Just before I let you go, I just want to say also as well, thank you to the people that have sent me a picture for the card sketch number 2. I think I've had 3 entries out already so far, and I only posted it on Monday. It's on the blog. It's called Sketch Number 2. If you want to take part, it's just for fun, you know, and if you're going to create something and you're using my sketch, just send me a picture of it, and I'm going to post them all. I'm going to close it on the 25th of June, and I'm going to post them all in a gallery, in a blog post, to show what you've all made. Right, let me carry on and see. I'm going to have to work backwards because I'm missing loads and loads and loads of comments. I know I am. So I'm really sorry. These videos are taking hours and hours and hours to render up on YouTube, but I do go back and I do try and answer all the questions. Right, let me see what you're saying. Mandy G is saying, I managed to create both thanks to you. So if I sent the whole design to ScanNCut all stacked up, would I separate them on the machine? Yeah, send them ungrouped, Mandy. And the minute you get it on your machine, save it as a file with all the layers in your machine. And then call the file up, cut your top layer. Select your top layer, delete all the other layers, and then just cut your top layer. When your top layer's cut, go back to the pattern that you've saved in your machine, call it up, delete the top layer, get your next layer. The way I do it is I drag it down to the bottom of the screen out of the way, and then I select the other layers and delete them. And that way you know you're cutting it in order. So I kind of cut it from top to bottom, if that makes sense. Bonnie's saying, thank you for doing the lives. They're really nice. You're welcome. I did it today. It's great fun. Oh, yes, Alison, I've got yours. Thank you. Yeah, you were one of the 3 people that I've got so far. Thank you very much. Erica's saying you're in the process of doing the challenge. Oh, lovely. Thank you. Marjorie's saying, fabulous demo. Thanks, Ashley. Lisa, thank you. Must we watch out for size, not too big? So long as it will fit on your mat, you know, on your 12 by 12 mat, then you're fine. That's why I'm saying I kind of start off at around about 8 inches, and then, you know, you can make them bigger and cut them, excuse me, from your 12 by 12. If you know that you're only going to cut them small in the first place, start with a smaller shape at the beginning. So maybe start with a 4-inch circle and make your 4-inch frame. And then when you're going to make the circle to make the actual like mandala shape, make that 2 inches. So use half. Are you with me? Very cool, very clever. Brilliant. Thank you, Ashley. They're beautiful. Wow, great session. Lots to think about. Okay. I've missed loads and loads of comments, but I think it's just all saying that you've kind of got it and you liked it. So are there any last questions before I go? Because it's 7:10 now. Is there too much detail to make these small enough for a card? Charmaine, if you're going to put them on a card, start off small. That's what I mean. So start off with, you know, maybe a 3-inch circle. If you're going to use the frame, start off with, say, something small, and then make your inner circles that form your first layer of your mandala half the size of the shape you start off with. I've just seen some, Alison, great coasters for G&Ts. I seem to have missed the challenge. Where do I get the details, please? Yvette, go to www.applelover53.co.uk, click on the blog tab, and then it was posted, I think, on the 1st of June, so it'll be just a few a few posts back and you'll see the challenge. It's just for fun. Eric is saying it'll be the first card I've ever made. I saw the ScanNCut and bought it on a whim, then went mad buying card and paper. I suppose there's no limit to the number of... No, definitely no limit to the number of layers. The thinner you make your offset layers, the more layers you can make, if that makes sense. Because obviously as your layers get bigger and bigger and bigger, if you look here, they start to lose detail. So the less offset you use on your second layer, the more layers you'll get out of your design, Alan. Right, where are we up to? Thank you, Ashley, for another brilliant tutorial. Managed to follow along. Brilliant, Tony. Thank you. Alison, you're welcome. Are Monday Makers Retail going to be on YouTube? Caroline, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get committed to doing them every Monday, to be perfectly honest, because I'm already doing Wednesday and Sundays. So I'm not sure. I'm going to try and continue to do the Wednesdays and Sundays of my own. If makers want me to do something for them, I may either combine their makes into my Sundays, or I may drop the Sunday and do it on another night and maybe do Monday and Wednesday. I'm not sure. I am self-employed, but I do work part-time, and I may be going back to work in a couple of weeks, and usually Monday is a day that I work all day. So I don't necessarily want to have to commit to working all day and then doing a maker's, YouTube kind of thing. I want to try and stick to my own 2 days, really, the Wednesday and Sundays if possible, and maybe do something for them on a Monday, but not necessarily every week. Mandy G saying super session. Dawn saying thank you. See you Sunday. Thanks, what I thought, you're doing so much. Yeah, that's what I mean. It is getting too much, to be fair. Sunday, just before everybody goes, although I think quite a lot have gone, I'm thinking about maybe trying to do some cutting of foam and felt. What are you thinking? Should we give it a go and see? Let me just have a quick drink and then I'm going to wind up. Charlotte's saying, that sounds doable. You really do have a real life. We appreciate your time, so don't blame you. You have to do what is best for you. You need to keep your independence. Yeah, I know. That's what I was also thinking. Oh, Leslie, thank you. Sounds good, great. Felt fab. Great, yes please, thank you again, sounds great, thanks for sharing, yes please. Lisa Davis put idea. Do you mean you like the idea? Yes, that will be useful. Foam and felt, yes please. Okay, so has anybody got anything in particular you want me to try and cut in foam or felt? Great, would I need the deep blade? I think you would, Charmaine, on the 900, yes. I think when I cut felt in the past on my 600 or 900, I did use the deep cut blade. I'll try and dig out my blade settings that I used to use on my old machine. Yes, sounds good. Another thing to start stockpiling. Well, we all buy this stuff, don't we? I know I've got a stack of foam. I don't know about felt, but I know I've got a stack of foam. I'm sure I've got felt somewhere. Yes, please, alternatives to paper are always interesting. I'll also be interested in cutting text weight paper. Okay. Not sure what you mean. Do you mean like copy paper, Charlotte? I use copy paper quite a bit when I'm kind of testing out designs. What about flowers? Okay, I'm struggling with letters, so that would be good if possible. What do you mean, letters in felt and foam, Erica? Your time is... Just keep us posted. Alison, it will be my normal Sunday at 5. Flowers would be nice, someone's saying. Yes, flowers in foam, great. Get off now, that's 7:15, okay. Okay, so we're going to try with foam and felt then on Sunday, and we're going to try with flowers. Righty-ho. Yes, copy paper, okay. Well, Charlotte, with copy paper, what machine have you got? Thanks for another brilliant lesson. See you soon. Night night. Yes, night night, Alan. Erica's saying no letters in general. I want to be able to do some words in script or brush all joined up. Okay, well maybe that can be next Wednesdays. In fact, it might tie in actually because somebody asked me about using special characters. So maybe next Wednesday, let me make a note, next Wednesday can be about welding words and that kind of thing and using special characters. I'm just making a scribbled note on my pad. Looking forward to Sunday, bye, thanks. Okay, right, Leslie, thank you, you're more than welcome. Barbara, thank you. Charlotte saying, I wish I could blame all my typos on him. Don't worry, Charlotte, it's fine. SDX, okay, well, if you've got the auto blade technology, for copy paper, Charlotte, put it on a low tack mat and just let the auto blade cut it. Mine cuts perfectly fine. Lynn, you're welcome. Right, I'm going to go now, everybody, because the questions seem to be stopping. And like somebody's just said, it's gone 7:15. Night, Alison. I'm going to end it here, and I'll see you all on Sunday. And I'll be armed with felt and foam, and we'll be doing flowers, Caroline. Okay, see you all. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.